What would happen if we all tried to be like Santa and learned to give, as only he can give, of ourselves, our talents, our love, and our hearts? Maybe if we could all learn Santa's beautiful lesson, maybe there would finally be peace on earth and goodwill toward man.
Greetings! Happy holidays, everyone! Episode 2 of the 6 months of Christmas. And my goodness, Jeff, Graham, Mikey, Christmas. Who says it better than Fred Astaire?
No one says it better than Fred Astaire, Kev.
And if all of us could just celebrate Christmas in that same way, perhaps we could have peace on earth and goodwill toward men. And of course, the purpose of the show is to have that goodwill toward men and that peace on earth for something beyond the 3 weeks we normally have it. Like this, for the civilians out there, it's, even for the Scrooges and the Grinches, it's December 7th to like the 26th of December. But for us, why can't we move that finish line a little bit? Well, excuse me, no, the entry line. Why don't we move that entry line?
Yes.
Just here in the 6 months of Christmas, we just want to move that a few weeks, a few months, perhaps 6 months, a half a year. But why can't we also want to help you prepare for the what we believe is the greatest holiday and the greatest time of the year. And by the way, a time for all. This is not a time. This is not the Christian time. This is not the Muslim time. It's not the Jewish time. It's not the non-denominational time. It's the time for all mankind. You heard what Fred Astaire said.
Yes.
He did not say peace to all Christians. He did not say goodwill to all Christians. Right?
Yeah.
To all humankind.
Absolutely.
That was done 50 years ago, by the way. We're coming up on the 50th anniversary of Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And I'm so excited for tonight's episode because we're going to go over these Christmas towns.
Yeah.
Okay, I know, and Meaghan Murphy, editor-in-chief of Good Housekeeping, is going to give us tips on fall decorating. And as we've said earlier in our first episode, once back to school happens, that's it. That's like the starter's pistol to the holiday season, okay? And we do here, we include All Hallows Eve.
We do.
We include that in the holiday season. It's Halloween, it's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, it's New Year. Mm-hmm. It's all those things rolled into one. So Megan's going to give us some really good tips. She'll be back with us probably next week. We're actually talking about going weekly on this because we've had such an amazing response from our 60 subscribers on our AfterBuzz TV Christmas 24/7 YouTube
growing.
channel, and growing. And we had about 10 views until my wife, the great Maria Menounos, IG storied us mockingly, I will say. But then, boom, 500 views and many, many comments and a lot of goodwill and good cheer.
Absolutely.
I have a feeling this is going to snowball. That's what I think.
Exactly.
That's what I'm.
No
I think.
pun. No pun intended.
No, that
Ryan,
was right off the cuff there.
really. And if you're gonna do Ryan, if you're gonna give us one of those, shouldn't it be a jingle bell?
Yes.
And Ryan,
It should be a jingle bell.
And here you are, Gen Z, right? Listen. I'm being very serious now. This is as the generations are going on, they're becoming more and more disconnected. They're more connected in terms of with technology, but in terms of human contact and spirit, I'm noticing how much more disconnected the other generations. I will take the younger generations, to different movies, and there will be tears running down my face at certain scenes. And I'm saying, this generation just kind of looks and scratches their head, and they understand what they're supposed to be upset about, and then they act on that, but it's not as heartfelt. And the only difference I see is in the Midwestern culture, which is you, Jeff, and Ryan. There's still a lot of old-fashioned values within you guys where you still have sensitivity, because I know, Ryan, we just had you produce the show, and when we wrapped it, you ran into studio and said, oh my goodness, this is one of the most favorite shows I've ever produced at AfterBuzz.
It was amazing. It was I had the holiday spirit.
Right?
And Ryan, we have to credit Ryan too, because he is a excellent producer. We had some last minute initiatives that we needed done for this show, and
we did.
He put on that producer's hat, aka that Santa hat.
And
he got it done.
He handled it with aplomb.
Yes,
yes.
Sure did.
And listen, Jeff and I, we decided to present ourselves in a very Dickens kind of way in terms of our costuming. Mikey's a little bit more office Christmas party.
Yeah, more like-
L.A. office Christmas party. Excuse
Michael
me.
Bublé, Hugh Hefner-ish.
Yes.
Like, having the Christmas party.
But I promise Ryan next week will be fully in costume. You will represent next week,
Absolutely.
Ryan.
I feel like a lump of coal down here.
Ah.
No,
I
this
feel
is
like I got
not.
the spirit up here. I know before the show it reminded me of Rudolph just kind of saving the day at the end.
Yeah.
That's right.
Putting his nose
and
on.
he was the ultimate misfit as well. He didn't fit in. He didn't fit in. But no, I mean it. You guys, I'm so grateful you're connected to enough to human spirit to understand the spirit of this show.
Just before this show, if you guys are watching live, you'll see the Dickensian outfits that Kevin and I are wearing, and
Right.
even this AfterBuzz branding we have some gentle snowfall, we have some icicles, and
very nice.
Careful viewers might see a cameo appearance from the big man himself, Santa. But as we were prepping the graphics and the assets for this show, Ryan and I were just having so much fun, getting so excited. There's something about Christmas, Kev. The fact that I get to lean into this.
It's very special.
Yes.
And I think, listen, our 500 viewers and our 60 subscribers are dying to know why our first episode, we were Christmas starts in August.
Yeah.
And now rebranding to the 6 months of Christmas. May I answer that, Jeff?
Please do.
Well, when we first put out Christmas starts in August, we were the only things on YouTube under that heading. Then as the days went on, there were more and more people putting up YouTube commentary with the same title, Christmas Starts in August. And unfortunately, unlike us and our positive take on Christmas starting in August, these people were people that were finding little moments of Christmas, but not being as grateful and as enthusiastic and as happy. And in fact,
Scrooges.
you can
What?
probably, Ryan, you can probably scroll through YouTube. I shouldn't throw you this curveball. I should have mentioned this earlier. But there's many people who are talking to camera and complaining and doing a WTF? Why am I hearing Christmas music in August at this? So prompted us to go with the 6 months of Christmas. So, knowing that if we start this annually in August, that will take us into January, maybe a bonus episode here and there along the way. But that answers that.
That answers
Okay.
that.
That answers that. We're going to, Jeff, before we get into the Christmas towns, a little bit of a inside Christmas, if you will.
Yes.
So my wife, Maria Menounos, who I can't tell if she's a troll or a fan of ours. I can't tell.
You can be both.
But in the spirit of Christmas, we'll, just like the Misfits, we'll take all the help we can get, right? We'll take any attention we can get, even the negative attention that
No such thing as bad publicity.
right? Well, if you go back to the Island of Misfit Toys, even the negative attention they got ended up being a good thing. The Abominable and things like that. I'm getting really inside Christmas. And by the way, we will be covering all the Claymation episodes in upcoming weeks in depth. I'm going to just say a shout out. Maury Laws, MaurylAws, passed away in March. The Emmys did not make mention of him. This was the man who composed all the music for those wonderful Claymation episodes. In fact, you hear a little musical melody at the opening of our show. The great Maury Laws was the composer. I really wanted to interview him desperately. Unfortunately, he's gone. And again, we'll do a deeper dive in the upcoming weeks on some of the Claymation specials that, to me, are timeless and so poignant, very much like Fred Astaire's words. But Maria was at Sirius XM.
Okay.
And she FaceTimed me, and she's laughing, and she's trying to get the words out with laughter with some other people at SiriusXM. Yeah, what is the name of your Christmas? What is the name of your Christmas show again? I was like, okay, Mia, why? And she said, I am at the Holly channel over at SiriusXM. Now, if anyone is familiar with SiriusXM and their Christmas music, they normally have two different Christmas stations, and I believe they may be expanding to a third. They have Holly, which is, I believe, the more traditional melodies, and then they have a modern one, which is more of the pop Christmas tunes, Mariah Carey and such. Denny, I'm having a brain freeze on his last name, is the program director for those channels. I happen to know him. Okay. So I've had to give him a little bit of a, I've had to lean in a little bit on him because the Holly is not obeying putting in the traditional stuff as much as it should. But it was very nice. I was able to, I said, put them on. So I was able to, give them some notes and some pointers. And they actually are going to send us some love. Maria recorded something telling people about us. And Sirius has said they're going to give us a little bit of love.
Wow.
For what we do here.
That's a game changer.
So, the best way you can help us, you guys, for you 500 viewers and you 50 subs, is to tell your friends about us, to obviously subscribe to our Christmas 24/7 channel here at AfterBuzz, and obviously to like and comment on our shows. And we're going to have more shows coming. We had a toy show pitched to us, obviously covering the 40 new movies being made by Hallmark. And we have several other specials coming. There's even going to be a Christmas 2000s, where people from Ryan's generation will give us their perspective on the holidays and what holidays were like for them growing up. So just lots of good stuff going on here, and I just wanted to give you a little inside Christmas there.
I love it. That's the insider's look. It's perfect.
Now, as far as towns go, I know I was supposed to cover Santa Claus, Arizona. You guys, it was like peeling layers of an onion. It just went deeper and deeper and deeper. And the stuff I found out, I spoke to 2 journalists separately and a historian who have all covered extensively this Christmas ghost town. And I have to say, it's a full episode on its own.
Wow.
I will tell you that it was settled in the 30s. It was abandoned, officially abandoned in the early 90s. Probably had its heyday by the late 60s. It was over. A very eccentric woman who nicknamed herself Mrs. Claus, who loved to cook, was the driving force behind this. And it is, unfortunately, on the verge of extinction.
Wow.
Because it's not a great enough landmark to be named a historical landmark, to be preserved like a lot of the other ghost towns. And then again, the land could be somewhat valuable and salvageable, but not for use of as a Christmas town, but for some other form of development. So more than likely, this could go away, unless, of course, here at the Christmas 24/7, here on the 6 months of Christmas, we don't do something about it. That's all I will say, Jeff. And now I'm going to I feel like I've said enough. I'm going to just turn it over to you, Jeff.
Well, we have a bunch of stuff on the show today. We have a couple more Christmas towns, then Kevin mentioned it, but at the end of the show, we will be doing a quick fall decoration segment with the executive editor of Good Housekeeping, Meaghan Murphy. That's coming up. I am today talking about Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, which is a very, very exciting town. I don't know how much you guys know of PA, but founded by William Penn, but importantly also contributed to by Richard Allen, who is responsible for Allentown and also founded Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So we have a lot here.
That long ago.
Yeah, the town itself, hundreds and hundreds of years old. The Christmas component of Bethlehem didn't actually develop until later, though, which is interesting. It wasn't named for a Christmas namesake, but the town eventually embraced that near the Great Depression. We have some beautiful photos here up on the screen. You can see it's a very idyllic town. Ooh. For you podcast listeners, picture cobblestone streets. There are always Christmas lights, and the Christmas lights and the Bethlehem Star are required to be lit from 4:30 p.m. until midnight every single day of the year, which is kind of interesting.
Every single day of the year.
Yep.
So this is truly the 12 months of Christmas.
This is the 12 months of Christmas at Bethlehem.
Wow.
And the source of that star I was just mentioning, the Bethlehem Star, has a really interesting backstory. So I'll try to keep this concise, but very interesting. Some important characters we're dealing with first. We first have Miss Marion Brown Grace, who is sort of you could think of her of the Christmas Meaghan Murphy of Bethlehem.
Meaghan Murphy, we previously mentioned, is the editor of Good Housekeeping magazine, but then also chief spirit officer of her town. The mayor literally made her chief spirit officer of her town because she has so much holiday spirit for all the holidays. I've literally never met. She's a living elf. But please continue.
Absolutely. So you could think of Mrs. Marion Brown Grace as sort of our own Meaghan Murphy. She was married to Eugene Grace, who was the president of Bethlehem Steel. Do you guys know anything about Bethlehem Steel?
No.
So up until the Great Depression, it was the second largest manufacturer of steel in the country. So this is kind of a blue collar backbone American town, right? Like one of those really important, just classic Americana towns. But because of that, they were hit really, really hard by the Depression. So, in 1937, we're already 7-8 years into the Depression at that point. The Bethlehem Steel Factory was only running 3 days a week. And even worse, a lot of the shops were closing down. They had not had a good Christmas since 1929. More than a few had gone under. And as if the shoppers were not discouraged enough by the bleak economy, newspapers were reporting an outbreak of tire slashing across the city. Oh, wow. More than 100 tires on 33 cars were punctured, one of the newspapers noted. During a local high school basketball game. So this is late 30s. The town is collapsing, but not everyone.
Wait, late 20s, I believe, or late 30s? You sure?
Yeah, because I think we were already like 8 years into the Depression by this point, which is crazy.
Gotcha.
But not everyone had given into despair. And another important character we have, I already mentioned Marion Brown Grace, but we have Robert Fife, who is the mayor of this town, kind of the reputation for just this happy-go-lucky mayor who always wanted to make things okay. Even people who remember him from their youth call him Dear Mayor Fife. So that's this guy. He got the idea with Eugene Grace, who's Miss Marion Brown Grace's husband, to do something here. And that's when Marion Brown Grace pitched kind of Christmasifying the town.
Okay, so it was Bethlehem Steel.
Yes.
And then they named... Was it always Bethlehem? And then when they created a steel company, they said it's Bethlehem Steel, very similar to if they lived in Boston and they created a steel company, it was Boston Steel.
Yes.
Okay, so gotcha. So, and then these two get together and say, why don't we connect it to Christmas?
Yes. So the Christmas happened afterwards. So 1937 is the year that they have this huge festival. And I'm just going to, this was such a well-written article. I'm just going to read from here. But Pfeiffer decided apparently to rally the community around the concept and to make the focal point of the creation to be a large Star of Bethlehem funded by a community-wide campaign. Wow. How perfect is that? Wow. So school children donated their pennies and nickels, and service club members made it the focal point of their fundraising effort that year, kind of spearheaded by Marion Brown Grace. Eventually, over $800 was collected for the stars, which... During the Depression in the 30s, $800 is a lot of money. Sure. And when they completed it, its vertical array was 60 feet high and 45 feet across, erected on the South Mountain on guy wires from two 78-foot poles. Okay, so I'm going to read a little bit about the festival. So this is the night of. Nothing's been lit yet. They're preparing to turn the switch. But before they do that, they have Dr. Edgar Shields, who conducted a chorus of over 50 singing voices singing O Little Town of Bethlehem, which is just so perfect. The Bethlehem High School Orchestra was there too, playing along, directed by Joseph Rossapito, and among other special guests included the Allentown mayor, which is a neighbor, but Allentown's a big Pennsylvania city.
Huge.
Mm-hmm. He came in. We have Easton's chief executive, Joseph Morrison. We have a Moravian bishop, Paul de Scheinwitz, and Moravian Protestantism is an important part of Pennsylvania culture. And even a bunch of Bethlehem Steel executives who decided to come and attend this rally.
Oh, my goodness.
Amazing.
And Jeff, probably not in this article, there had to have been some Christmas villains.
I'm sure there were.
Do you know what I mean? There had to have been. And I think I'm going to have to task you to go a little deeper.
I will.
Because there had to be some Mr. Potters, some Scrooges. There had to be some Christmas villains wanting to stop this.
I'm sure.
Well, you would think. Maybe that's in my fantasy. But I think it's also interesting that even the executives who are probably staunch capitalists, and this is the time of Rockefeller, Vanderbilt, post those guys, but they were the last generation of the magnates, and so
they had to be convinced, I bet.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah. I pictured as Eugene, who was one of the executives, as the good executive who had to turn his grumpy white-collar stooges to bring them.
So Eugene is the husband or no?
Yes, so he's the husband of Marion Brown Grace, and this is where she factors in. So it's 5:30 p.m. It's getting dark because it's, Christmas time. Rising from the dais, Marion Brown Grace walks to a switch and pulls it. And with that, lights sparkle all over the downtown area and across from hill to the bridge. And for the first time, a bright star of Bethlehem glowed over the South Mountain, and the Christmas city dedication was complete. And since then, they've upgraded so this is within the next year, they upgraded the wooden star to a Bethlehem steel donated, like big steel star that cost $5,000.
When was that done?
That was the next year, which is crazy.
Which is so perfect.
Actually, 1939, so a year and a half, but still, their hearts of stone were turned to gold.
Yes.
Since 1967, they've had the same star, which is the current star, 91 feet high, set in an old steel frame and concrete base, 250 50-watt bulbs. Pretty crazy.
And I would think that this significantly increased the success of the town and
I'm sure.
not just the spirit, but I bet you anything. Think of all the people that go there, right? It must be great for the economy
Yeah.
of the town. And it's so great, you guys, all from an act of just decency.
Yep.
Of just spirit. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like, hey, we'll do this, then we'll charge admission. It really sounded like we need to do something to lift, something positive just to make people feel good and lift their spirits.
Yeah.
And then, as is so many times the case, it always pays off in the very long run in ways we never expect.
Fun fact, the only time that the star was turned off in the history of since that first Christmas ceremony was from 1941 to 1945.
Pearl Harbor or during the war?
During the war, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
They didn't want to expose themselves as that would be too good of an air raid target if those lights were on.
Huh.
Crazy, I know. So Bethlehem, I'm like so in it now, Kevin. I'm gonna keep looking at this stuff.
So I bet you anything the town has a local historian. Most towns do. We're gonna need to talk to that person.
I love it.
In more depth. And Ryan in the booth, Ryan the elf. I want you to. I think you should take us out at the end of the show. If you can find Linus's speech on Charlie Brown Christmas, where he talks a little bit about the North Star, and it's very reminiscent of what you just read, Jeff, about them, looking at the lights.
Absolutely.
Really
we have a
beautiful
photo of the gravestone of Eugene and Marion Brown. They were buried together. So.
And when did they pass on?
The dates are on. Ryan, do you have a good?
Well, not
view
even
of that?
specifically, but around 1881 they were born.
Like
so
1960?
We got 1960 and a 1958.
Wow.
58. Well,
They
58 and
saved the
60.
town.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Pretty damn cool. You know what? Like, just think of how many people I ever understood. People who when you have so much, I don't know if it's a programming in the person or whatever it took to gather so much that they feel that need to only gather more. Why wouldn't you find ways like this with your money to give back? Although I will say, out of a lot of those massive people from industry, Rockefeller and Vanderbilt, all of them had these weird turns at the end of their lives where they went massively into charity.
Yep.
And then it became a competition. First, it was competition who's the richest man in the United States and in the world. And then it became a competition of who would give away the most and do the most charity. And, you see with Bill Gates, he's committed.
Yeah.
I'm sure Zuckerberg will be the same. I feel like the new age ones, Jobs, one of the shortcomings with Jobs is that he was not very much into that, into charity. I don't know if that would have changed had he lived. But I think that it just goes to show, I understand when you have a lot of children and you want to provide for them and make sure they have a good life. But I never quite understood, when you have so much, how much do they really need?
Right.
And how much are you robbing them of their journey by providing them with so much? Anyway, I don't know. It's such a great lesson that someone, went out and did something out of the goodness of their heart. And I'm sure it has helped that city in so many ways. Pulled them through the Depression, but I think it's gone on for generations to help them and kind of put them on the map.
So cool.
Very interesting. Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Good work.
Thanks.
Mikey Christmas.
Yes.
Tell us about your town.
Well, when we were talking about North Pole, Alaska, so I'd heard that, And my first reaction was the North Pole. What's going on up there? But I was like, oh wait, Alaska. It's actually the Fairbanks North Star Borough, Alaska, United States. That's like the official headline title. So it's kind of Alaska, but it's up there. It is 1,700 miles south of Earth's geographic North Pole.
Okay.
And 125 miles south of the Arctic Circle. So if that gives you any idea.
Oh my goodness.
So it's up there. So
And do average temperatures? Did you get any of that? If not, Ryan, you can look it up in the booth.
I'm trying. Let's see. We got here.
Because
elevation.
is it unlivable or is it?
No, I
is
would
there
think.
times a year you
they've
can
got towns up there, and
Okay.
the population is just over 2,000.
look at Ryan in the booth. Look up.
But I'm not
Yeah,
seeing any temperatures here. I would think you got snow all year.
Yeah.
I would think so.
Right, and then but Ryan, get me average temperatures during the season, and then also average amount of daylight. Because
That's
daylight's
another thing.
very
That's one of those
limited.
things up
All right,
there.
he'll find out. So go ahead, Mike.
Yeah. So this is a town that is kind of taken over on its own. Like, as I was thinking, it's like North Pole, Alaska. Like, that far up there. We talk about towns when I think about when I know towns. Like we talked about Solvang last time. It's like that's an easy trip you can go to. But what was interesting about this one is that, and I didn't even think about it. Think about how many kids every year write letters to Santa. You go to the North Pole.
And especially in the days of snail mail.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's changed to a
That's-
degree
Now
now.
we text Santa, I'm sure.
Do
but-
they
Well,
really?
or email.
Do they really now? That's what it is.
I don't know, but
There's nothing.
Listen, Elf Vito, of course, us, we have to have an Italian elf.
Yes.
Who's connected, by the way. He's this thing we do. This thing of ours. We don't want to call it a mafia. But anyway, Vito is working on the Christmas 24/7 site
yes.
to play Christmas music year-round. But also, we want to find a way to, a couple of things. We want to have a little bit more finite tracking on Santa than NORAD. NORAD only tracks him those 24 hours.
Right.
Where's Santa now, Jeff?
That's a good that's a great question.
Is Santa in the workshop with the elves? Is he working with the carolers? Is he
he's-
watching Netflix? We don't know.
I think
Or
he's
is
knitting with Mrs. Claus.
He could be, or is he seeing who's been naughty and who's been nice? Checking
I think
up,
that's a
right?
11-month gig
It's
doing that.
So
yeah.
we are working with our elves here at the Christmas 24/7 AfterBuzz to find a way to be tracking that, along with a way that that these children can write in via email. But back to what you were saying.
We have temperature details.
All right,
Ryan, go for it.
please.
Didn't mean to interrupt. But so okay, in the months of November through March, it is negative degrees. It averages. I can get as low as negative 20 degrees and as high as 1 degree.
Okay.
Between the month January and December, and then in months of June and July, it can only get as hot as the lower 70s. So it's really cold there.
Okay, how much sunlight do we have? Can you check that one out?
Daylight, we have. Again, in December and January, you only get 4 to 5 hours.
Wow. Okay.
That's shocking.
By the way, all the better for Christmas lights to be seen.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
how I
yeah.
see it. All right, Mike, get back to your
It
report.
started back in 1949. A couple, Connie and Nellie Miller, arrived in Fairbanks,
This
Alaska.
is 49?
1949.
Wow.
They had $1.40 in cash with 2 kids with them.
Wow.
They arrived at this town.
And they needed a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, and so they kind of became, it was a fur trading town with a bunch of merchants, and there was nothing really there. So they kind of created, the Millers decided to build like an outpost, like a trading general store, because there was nothing around. It was all just traders coming in from anywhere,
Right, probably hunters and trappers, right? Okay.
So they created this thing, but then what he did is, because they say this town all started with a Santa Claus suit, so he dressed up as Santa Claus. It just
And
out
now,
of the holidays.
was it called North Pole at the time?
Not that I know of. No, this was Fairbanks, Alaska. It wasn't.
Great.
It was still
Thank you.
Fairbanks. And it was dubbed the North Pole in 1952. Because people started coming to this area, but he would dress up as Santa Claus. So it all just started with this guy in a suit and this kind of like outpost. I didn't give you the picture, Ryan, but I could pull it up. It's called the Santa Claus House. They called it. It's the North
You'll
Pole,
find it.
Alaska
Wow, look at
General
him. That's him?
Merchandise Souvenir Store, and it was just kind of this store. And he would dress up in a Santa Claus suit.
Build it and they will come.
And then they got it. This area was also the post office for 20 years before they had an official post office. So this couple with their 2 kids created this trading post for all these trappers and everything to create this area. And then, like you said, you build it and they will come. It's kind of like what we're doing here,
Right? Yeah.
And it just from there built and built and built. And I think, Ryan, I gave you it's traded hands throughout the years. Santa Claus House has been passed on. They've built it up over the years, and it finally the mayor of it, I think it was. Let me see here. Although the Santa Claus House changed, the Miller family's commitment to the community of the North Pole did not. So this family is always it's changed over the years, but their commitment to building this area and to build it up to what it is there.
Whoa. So is it still the family owned?
Yes, it's passed down, and it was from the Millers, and then it passed on to, give me a second here, I'll find it for you guys. I'm bad at this.
Stanleys,
The Stanley family, there we go. In the 1960s with Stanley Plastics.
And so when did it officially become North Pole?
They started in 1952.
In 52.
That's when it was dubbed.
Dubbed.
That.
So is it official? If we looked up North Pole, Alaska,
that's what
or is it Fairbanks?
Yeah, if you look up North Pole, Alaska, that's what comes up. This is it. And then you go, and that's when I was like, oh, it's called Fairbanks. So then when I go back and we talk about your kids signing these North Pole, Alaska, or North Pole Santa Claus, it goes there.
They send it there.
Wow.
That's what they go to.
And now, how do we have a population?
2,100. I have the exact number right here. 2117.
Damn. And do they get a lot of visitors? Is it a tourist place?
Because that building, that's what's there. They've got the largest outdoor Santa Claus. It's 42 feet tall, 900-pound, three-dimensional Santa Claus statue outside the store there.
Yeah.
But again, I think about this, I want to make a trip up there, but
So do I.
I don't know how many people. I think this is more kind of like the local tradition.
Ryan, can you Google how many annual people visit North Pole, Alaska, and let's see what comes up.
Because they're saying, and part of their income, I was trying to find anything on the tourism and what it would bring. There's not a lot of articles on what the tourism brings in, so I'm assuming it's not. A lot of times when you look up tourism,
right.
Say for Orlando, Florida, they have a number. And they say what this brings in for the revenue. This is not really that.
So it could be though. Next week we'll talk about what happened with Santa Claus, Arizona. But these places could become. Well, they could like North Pole to me.
Right.
Could be a place that more people could visit if there was almost a spiritual aspect to it. Meaning.
Right.
You go there, almost like a Burning Man kind of event that people can go and kind of.
And I don't know if they do this on purpose, but there was no real website for it, for that house that you can go to, so you can take a virtual tour. There was nothing like that to look up.
Yeah, usually you don't want that stuff out there. I just recently did a tour of Gettysburg, and they try to limit it because they want you to go and see.
I think that's why.
So it could be that.
The motto, though, is where the spirit of Christmas lives year-round. That's the motto of the town, which I love. And it's got to be. If you're living snow 365 days a year, that to me is what I think of when I think of Christmas.
Yeah.
It's
funny. We live in LA here, and I do love the sunny weather.
As do I.
But I miss the seasons, and there's something kind of romantic about the thought of a 5-hour daylight day. Because from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., you cozy in, you have your breakfast. Then you go outside and build a snowman from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Oh, it's getting dark. Let's get back inside. Let's start making dinner, have some hot chocolate, watch movies.
Right. 100%.
It allows you.
Let's go.
It allows you to shut in.
Get me out of here.
Yeah.
One of the last things they did say in the article, and this could kind of go to that, they said, Santa Claus House is one of the top attractions in interior Alaska and has welcomed millions of visitors from all over the world. They don't say in what time frame they've welcomed millions of visitors. So I'm like,
over 7 decades.
If this was, back in 1952 and they're saying this. So I think this is limited by its location as far as a travel destination. But for me...
But it could become something so special.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you go there, you go there once for your life. And I went to North Pole. I was there in this area. So
apparently there's only 11 hotels.
Okay.
In the entire area.
That's enough.
Yeah.
But that's still
But
a lot.
I don't think you're going to be doing anything else up there. But
Anything else you found out, Ryan?
There is no tourism statistics. However, the population has increased by 500 people in the past 3 years.
Okay.
It is a small town.
I guess our podcast
Really
is
special.
doing good work.
You know what? See,
but the fact that was, for me, was fascinating. It was just this couple. They didn't even go there to start this. It was just like, wow, this is an area, we're going to introduce Santa to it. We're going to introduce the holidays to it. In an area that hadn't it.
There's so many times, when things, there's a saying about, things being built out of integrity lasting, and then things that are not built out of integrity not lasting. And especially, they say, during these times, the times that things that are built outside integrity are collapsing. But I found more often than not, the people with the wholesome ideas and the good spirit, and it's not about money. It's just about, doing something bigger than that. I tend to see them always pay off. But again, it's a long game. A lot of heartache and a lot of struggling.
What are your guys' thoughts on? Because I see this and I see the pictures, and I think it's just the right amount. and being that I love Christmas, there are times where I've kind of see some stuff and I'm like, okay, it's a bit overdoing it. This is a little bit
too many lights,
too much
LEDs.
Everything is everywhere, too many different colors, and I think they've perfected whatever they've been doing. And that's why it's lasted, 7 decades now.
Yes, but I stand by what we do on this show here, which is that if we can extend that spirit just a little more, why can't we be, like Fred Astaire says at the beginning, why can't we be a little nicer to one another, a little bit more forgiving, a little bit more giving, a little bit more generous? And so, if the sentiment, if expanding that would increase that sentiment, I'm all for it.
I'm curious if this town is kind of like Whoville, where it's all year round. Like, because if I
very well could be
snow every year, all year round, I would feel the Christmas spirit all year. I mean, maybe you don't put your tree up until November or whatever, but it just I could not help feel that.
Well, it's nice to have this idea that that someone in the world, Santa, is building toys year round, but someone in the world is carrying on Christmas for the rest of us.
Absolutely,
we
need it.
So
the beating heart.
All right, really good job. Let's see if we can get some follow up too from town historians on both these places.
Sure, this was
and I wonder what happened to when did the founders pass away of that town?
The Millers.
Yeah,
I look
at that. I think it was in the 60s because that's when the Stanley family took over.
Isn't it so interesting? So the 60s is when the people from Bethlehem passed. 60s is when these people passed. The 60s was when the second party came in to buy Santa Claus, Arizona.
Wow.
Well, they came in, I believe, around the 50s, but they carried the sentiment until about the late 60s, and then was the ultimate collapse. A lot of these places, too, they started out as almost land within a town. Mm-hmm. So Santa Claus was just land within a town, and it sounds like this was just land within Fairbanks.
Yeah.
And they said, let's call it North Pole. And at a time where, you probably didn't have government all up and in your face.
Sure.
They're allowed to call it North Pole. Let's give them their own zip code. Okay, you guys can take.
Right.
It wasn't like today.
You're zoning and you got to pay the taxes on this.
Today you'd get buried.
Right.
Anyway, very good job,
and those things
gentlemen.
Seems protected, which would be great. It's
Interesting enough, it looks like they were related to some of the members of the government there. And I think they had some cousins that were on the Senate there, and one was the governor of Alaska, one was the commissioner of the administration.
I mean, it's such a small place.
Right.
That makes sense to me. That doesn't reek of conspiracy or, that reeks of, that just says to me that it's a very small area. And like I said, if they had a little extra inside power and they used it for this, I'm all for it.
Absolutely. What better to use your power for than to promote the spirit of the holidays?
Right?
I love it. Mikey, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And listen, you guys, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please do the same and tell a friend. Please subscribe to our feed and also leave your comments. We want to know. But if there's other towns you think we should cover, we'll be happy to cover them. But these three. And like I said, next week we're going to go really deep.
dive.
This one's a little spooky.
Ooh. Perfect for
A
October.
little kooky. Yeah. But I'm inspired. The other thing that came up when we sent out the first show was a lot of people gravitated to the concept of us buying a Christmas town.
No.
And I've been racking my brain for how to do it and then how to make it sustainable. And I do actually have some ideas how we could do it.
Oh, I'm so excited,
I do
Kevin.
have some ideas. And we'll get there. Jeff, what do you want to go to next?
Well, I think maybe we save the fall decoration update for the end. Do you think so? That'll be how we make our way
That
out.
feels right.
So let's go ahead and talk about, we have some Christmas store decoration updates.
Yes, you guys, this is very big. Okay, I know people don't like consumerism, but again, I can't get enough Christmas. If seeing all those lights in the aisles is going to get people to feel a little cheerier and be a little bit happier, I'm all for it. I know there's a lot of Scrooges who see this and get very angry. I think we're going to need an episode on how to convert these people.
Yes.
As I've always said, the best way is through buying them. Just give them presents, and then they'll see how nice this can be. But anyway, the stores are usually the best indicator where we're getting closer. So we've been very close. We caught the very first Halloween breaking out in the Costco's in August, and now I know the Hobby Lobbies were putting out Christmas stuff in August. We had people send us pictures of that. But Jeff, what is the update for right now? If I want to go out to a store, where can I find myself some Christmas?
Yes, so last weekend I was at Costco. If anyone's an LA native, I was at the one on the west side near Venice Beach.
Very nice.
And I was there prepping some food. I'm on this crazy diet, but as I was checking out with all my food, I look back and I see a twinkle in my eye in the left side of my peripheral vision, and I look over, and alas, probably 100 square feet of Christmas decorations. We have inflatables, we have trees, we have lights. I sent a video immediately to our Christmas team because I am so excited. You can see my almost nervous energy at my excitement in
Jeff
this video.
dressed as a layperson, by the way.
I'm dressed as a civilian.
Do you see? Is that a train going by there?
Interesting.
And I have a photo. As I was checking out, I took a photo in line as well. Very exciting to see that this is happening. And then Ryan, you have some other store decoration photos pulled up as well. Mikey's got a store decoration up there as well.
I was in the need for. I had to go to Home Depot, and I'm out at Home Depot. I'm up in Santa Clarita.
Yes, because these Home Depots, they haven't sprung yet.
No,
I've been checking.
I'm up in Santa Clarita. I'm walking around, and I instantly see this right there.
Quite a setup.
Now,
go Santa Clarita.
Now, I have to put a little button on the end of this because I'm not sure. As I'm walking through the store, I'm noticing lots of people with headsets, lots of people with ID.
Okay,
and as I walk to the outside area, I see a lot of like honey wagons.
Oh.
I'm like, is this a Christmas commercial for Home Depot? Because we're kind of far out. But they didn't film anywhere near this. There was no cameras in the angle of this. They were all outside. No Christmas stuff outside.
Now, that's
the shelves.
I will tell you, as a person who's at Home Depot once a week, easy. That's what the display.
That's what it normally
usually looks like. So, congratulations to the Santa Clarita store in Home Depot. Congratulations to our Costco out here. Any of our fans, if you're seeing Christmas pop up in the stores, we want to know. Listen, we don't want to undermine Halloween.
No.
We're very excited.
Yes.
It's a great introductory drug to Christmas. It's a great gateway into the holiday.
And speaking of a Halloween gateway, I think it's time to pull in our expert consultant, Meaghan Murphy.
Yes.
As I mentioned, we're thrilled to have Meaghan. You guys will see from this video. If you want to talk about a Christmas personality, I think this is the essence of a Christmas personality.
She's so great because she's like, guys, I'm all in. You're right. 6 months of Christmas. But she was the one saying, we still got 4th of July.
Yeah.
We still have Halloween. We said, like, this is someone who honors every St. Patty's Day, every single holiday in Americana. She's honoring. So much respect. So she's very much into this holiday, of course, but she's very fair to our sister holidays as well.
She is fair to our sister holidays. And I want to credit Meaghan. This speaks to her ability to get things done. She had some urgent Christmas duties that did interfere with our initial interview tape time. So in about 5 minutes, she pre-taped this well-produced segment about fall decorating tips. It's today, this very day, is the first day of fall.
It is. Yep. Summer's gone. Summer is gone.
Excited to see some fall/Halloween updates. Meaghan, take it away.
Hey everybody, I am Meaghan Murphy, the executive editor of Good Housekeeping. I like to celebrate, I like a holiday, and it is Halloween up in here. This is a sneak peek of the October issue of Good Housekeeping magazine, and it is filled with spooktacular, beautiful projects, starting with this cover. I mean, seriously, who doesn't want all that Halloween happiness in their home? Ooh. Which one are you going to make first?
Wow, a colored
it's the
pumpkins?
spikes, the map text. Whoa, the epic taped spider. But it doesn't stop there. Oh wait. These are batty. Look at these batty cupcakes.
Wow, so we've got we've got how to do pumpkins. We've got cupcakes. This is for our Apple Podcast listeners.
Yes.
What do we got?
Look, this doormat, so making that for Tia Murphy.
Oh my goodness.
This creepy, eepy plant hanger. Oh my gosh. You see this wreath? Okay, I'm going to make it come to life right now. Dun,
A
dun,
wreath,
dun,
a doormat, and look at she made it.
Halloween
A Medusa wreath.
Oh my gosh.
kind of snakes.
Wow.
Okay, let's vote. Creepy or cool? Creepy or cool?
Creepy.
That's creepy.
Snakes on a plane. It's snakes on a wreath. Okay, you're inside, by the way, the Good Housekeeping craft closet.
Oh, look at this.
Look
Wait, I
around.
thought we were in a department
These
store.
are
Nope.
some of the pumpkins that may or may not have made the issue.
Wow.
This is Self-Care Pumpkin with her cucumber
Oh, my
eye
goodness.
mask. I mean, how cute is that?
So it's a pumpkin
Hashtag self-care.
with a
right?
facial mask. Amazing.
Was a toilet paper tube that we made into a ghost.
I love it.
Woo!
Isn't that amazing?
So cute.
And fun you could do with your kids.
This is Mr. French Pumpkin. Somehow he lost an eye. Ooh, but look at he gets his
Tassels.
dance
He's got
on.
tassels and multicolored.
Oh, hi, boo.
Hi, boo. A white
This
pumpkin.
is for you, hi, boo. Right? Oh, and this, I have like a little spider problem, so I just thought this was so cute.
So
Oh, it's a spider pumpkin.
it's a small pumpkin
A little beat up. Because here at Good House,
turned into a spider.
here's a little preview. We're already ready for Christmas. Da, 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 da. The colorful millennial trees are out, right? The pastel millennial trees
Wait,
are already out.
what are millennial
Look at these
trees?
cute- Oh, but look at this. Oh, this was a fun project too. Melted wax on these bottles.
Ooh.
Oh my
This
goodness.
issue is packed.
So the melted wax in the bottle is for Christmas or for Halloween?
Before we go, because I made this. Woo, woo, woo. Slime. I made that in the T. Murphy Slime Lab. It has googly eyes. Googly eyes, googly eyes.
Slime with eyes.
I can't promise that it's not messy, but I can promise that it is fun.
I love it.
Oh my gosh! I made that spider too. Okay. It's wearing shoes.
And wait,
it's a spider
is it-
wearing
is
Barbie
it a
shoes
plate?
because this
It's a
solved my
plate.
mom problem with all of these like rando one shoe things.
You
in the
guys,
house.
these are the cheapest, easiest decorations to
All the
make.
dolls, the Barbies, they're on the spider.
I just love that we're getting
He doesn't love shoes, The
exclusive.
spider does. Oh my gosh, Brace, last thing, and I'll let you go. These are balloon pumpkin stress balls. They're filled with rice, and you can smoosh them. If you're feeling particularly
unbelievable.
anxious, you can just make these little pumpkin stress balls and smoosh, smoosh, smoosh. Okay, so this issue is on stands now. I want you to look for it wherever magazines are sold.
This is great.
And enjoy and report back with what you try first. And Christmas is coming, but we cannot ignore Thanksgiving because
Yes.
I gobble that up too.
Nope, we would never.
So happy holidays! And I screwed up the timing, but hopefully you can still use this video. Mwah!
Right. Wow. So you know what? These are great. Like when you want to have a Halloween party and you want to be different, right? But
Yeah.
but also not break the bank. A lot of great stuff.
Sure.
I mean, like I'm. This is not my jam to be decorations and
Right.
DIYs. It's not- But you know what? Now I'm in.
Well,
Now
Megan,
I'm totally sucked in.
how much does she sell you on it too?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But the stuff's so original and so
It's
cool.
cool. Definitely.
And you always, think about it when you could have people over for your Halloween party and it's fine, but when you have all that stuff to
Sure,
get people
yep.
talking and
Goes a long way.
It goes a long way, and all the stuff I saw there doesn't cost much.
No,
It was literally like cents and dollars
I love
for
it.
a lot of that stuff. So Good Housekeeping, I guess this month.
Yeah.
Very interesting. One of the few magazines kind of left that's still
That's true.
paper that still
On newsstands.
converts. Yeah.
Yeah.
It still has a following. Do we have a holiday hero segment, Jeff,
I have a quick holiday hero segment if we like this.
to go
This
out
is-
on a nice inspirational
Yes,
note?
this is a story from an anonymous New Jersey family. When my family, and you'll see why it's very Catholic, which is, we love that. When my family was able to get together for Christmas, we always went to Christmas Eve Mass. Although I'm not particularly religious, Christmas Eve Mass is beyond beautiful. The choir's voices were so lovely and strong that the whole building would shake with song every year. One year, my older brother wasn't going to be able to make it for Christmas because he lived too far away, and it was just not the same Christmas Eve feeling as we stood there in our fancy holiday finest and sang carols until my older brother walked in during Angels We Have Heard on High. He had driven for 13 hours straight to make it in time for the holiday. My whole family started crying, and I will never forget how it felt, like my own little Christmas miracle. For that reason, I've always loved that song so much, and it was so nice to have my Christmas wish come true and see my older brother. Merry Christmas, everyone. Wow. Holiday heroes.
Very nice.
I love it.
Guys, let's all just keep remembering that we don't have to give and forgive. and be kind just for those 3 weeks in December. We can do it. We can start now. You can be crappy those other 6 months. We'd prefer you not to be, but you can be. It's okay. It's okay. Remember, the 6 months of Christmas said so. Ryan, do you want to play us a little Charlie Brown?
Sure, Charlie Brown. I can tell you what Christmas is all about.
Here we go.
Lights, please.
Linus out on the stage.
Lights, please.
Yep. Good job, Linus. And we've
He
got our
changed the lights.
And there were in the same country shepherds, abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them. And the glory of the Lord shone round about them. And they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not. For behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God, and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men.
Ah,
Take the blanket.
Take the
Exit
blanket.
stage. That's it. Drop the mic. Done.
that's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown.
You know, it's funny. You think about enlightened people who have walked the earth. You know, Martin Luther King, I think Gandhi, Jesus. And I think that, man-made religion has just made a mess of all of it. But I do think that that there's a greater power out there that has sent us enlightened individuals. And then we've made a mess of it because that's what we do as humans.
Yep, sure.
But then some of us humans, George Bailey, the Millers, who were the people from your town?
The Browns.
The Browns.
Yes.
There's some other people that just, they know that we make a mess, but then they just try to make it right.
Absolutely.
You guys, another great episode.
Great episode.
Thank you so much for all this information. Jeff, do you want to take us out of here?
I'd love to. I will definitely be doing some deep dives on Bethlehem, Pennsylvania to see if I can get a hold of this historian. But I think we have a little bit more Fred Astaire, right?
We more than likely, I guess we do. I forget how we go out on this.
Yes.
We'll be back. I think next week we'll be back
You better be
with
getting
more.
home, too.
There we go.
And
Yes.
remember,
This is not.
behave yourself.
Is that Fred Astaire?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course.
Is he America's voice of Christmas?
She got Mickey Rooney,
Yes.
who plays Santa in 2 of the claymation specials. You have
True.
Burl Ives, who plays the snowman.
Little
Yeah.
lives.
We'll do
Yeah.
a tribute to the voices
A lot
of
of 'em.
Christmas later in this episode. But guys, this is Christmas starts in this is the 6 months of Christmas.
There we go.
Yes.
Thank you very much for tuning in. We had a great time today. Again, today we covered Christmas towns, but if there's any other Christmas towns you want to see covered, let us know down below. And I have a sneaking suspicion, we'll be back soon. It might be next week. So
Could be.
We're ramping up production here, and we'll see what happens. Until then, I'll let you know on Twitter. And if you want to find me on Twitter, you can do that at Jeffrey C. Graham. Thanks for tuning in, Mikey.
At Mike Kalinowski on Twitter and Instagram. Send all your Christmas stuff my way. I love it. Love
yes.
At Undergaro on Instagram. And at Maria Menounos. Why don't you hit her and tell her, you know what? Like, leave the guys alone. Let them spread Christmas, and don't be the one to get in the way.
We'll see you guys.
From Chairman Elves, Keven Undergaro, and Maria Menounos, we would like to thank you for tuning in. Until next time, do your best to make every day Christmas! Ho, 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 ho.